Welcome to another edition of the Don't Argue Finals Edition 2. And I'll tell you what, he's proud as punch this bloke too, an absolute superstar of the NRL. His name's Kurt Gidley, and he's the Newcastle Knights number one ticket holder. Gids, what a weekend for you. What a weekend for your Knights, mate.
Yeah, mate, it was awesome. I mean, it was all set up for the NRL there, mate. Last round of the season, as far as the regular season. So, and both teams playing off, mate, for the eighth position. Newcastle Knights versus the Redcliffe Dolphins, mate. So, old boys' day in Newcastle it was. So it was a big occasion, sold out stadium, and a great atmosphere, and a pretty tight game throughout the whole match. But the Knights, mate, got over the line. Thankfully for the Knights old boys on that day, but unfortunately, mate, for the Dolphins, couldn't squeak into the eight, mate, in their second season.
And Gids, obviously, mate, you know, like I just said to you off air, I reckon the Knights winning, good for the competition. They've got that little bit of X factor. Can they go deep, do you reckon, Gids?
Well, I think they can, Matty. I think Kalen Ponga really took hold of that game on the weekend. He set up both tries. He kicked the penalty goal, which was pretty basic, but I just thought he was involvement. He wanted his hands on the ball. I seen him down the beach this morning. He's pumped to be in the semi-finals. And mate, you know, we'll get to that game a little bit later on, but they took that game to Golden Point earlier in the year, and the Cowboys just got on with a field goal. But so I think they'll go up there confident. I know they're a different team at the back end of the year. They have been the Cows, but mate, you got to be in it to win it, and they're there.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Fantastic stuff. And well done to you. Saw some photos with the old boys, the old cap on too, mate, been doing the rounds.
Baggy red and blue on, mate.
It's good to see somebody get back, though, for it, isn't it, Gids?
Yeah, mate, I think we're the strongest old boys in the competition. We've been around for the longest, about 10 years into the competition. The Knights started the once a night old boys, and it's been going since then, and it gets bigger and bigger every year, which is great. And we have a theme each year where we try and recognise a different group of players. And this year it was the Pacifica boys who have represented the Newcastle Knights. So it was great to have guys from New Zealand, Tonga, Samoa, Cook Islands, Fiji. So those boys done a lap of honour, and they lapped it up.
Oh, I bet you they did, mate. Hey, that's the good from last weekend, the last round, of course. The bad, couple of the top 8 teams with some shock losses, Bulldogs and Manly being them, and got beaten convincingly. I must admit, I was watching the Palmer Bet market in that Bulldogs game and the Cowboys, and the market swung in the last kind of couple of days. They were red hots, the Bulldogs, and then the market just kind of seemed to go with the Cowboys. And Cowboys duly saluted. Manly were a little bit disappointing. They now meet first week of the finals, Gids, off the back of some disappointing losses. It's an interesting one, isn't it? Because normally winning form's good form.
Yeah, for sure, mate. You definitely don't want to be pumped 44-6, and that's what the Bulldogs did. We'd spoken about how much their defence has improved in 2024 as opposed to the previous year. So that would be a disappointing one going into your first week of the finals in a long time. And then there's been a bit of off-field controversy over the last couple of days with one of their players there who Josh Shadow Carr won't be playing this weekend. So not the ideal preparation for Cameron Ciraldo's first final series as a head coach, which is unfortunate. And yep, you're right. The Eagles also 40 points put on them, mate, in the final round leading into semi-finals. Just not ideal as far as reviewing that game and needing to improve, certainly defensively. We spoke about how strong, mate, the teams that end up in the grand final. They're the two best defensive teams in the comp normally, and that's what you've got to be doing over the next few weeks to get there.
Yeah, and Canterbury let themselves down for mine because their defence has been enormous all year. But, they're going to kind of limp into that final series now. Crowd support's been enormous. As you said, a bit of off-field drama during the week. Doesn't make for a great mix heading into week one of the finals, Gids, that's for sure.
No, you kind of want to fly under the radar a bit, mate.
Of course you do.
Which I think the Sharks have been doing, Matty. Like, the last couple of years, I think the Sharks have gained plenty of attention. Obviously, Craig Fitzgibbon, the new head coach there, and has been there for this third season. But I feel like this year they've flown under the radar, but they've always stayed that consistently top 4 team throughout the year. So there's not a lot of talk about the Sharks at the moment. I think they're liking it.
Hey, what about the ugly of the week? The poor old West Tigers, mate. They didn't want this. It was the Spoon Bowl against Parramatta. Parramatta absolutely smacked them. Parramatta's last 4 or 5 games been pretty solid, to be honest. 60-26. First team since your Newcastle Knights, Gids, 2015, 16 and 17. 3 spoons in a row, big fella. I suppose good thing for your Knights. They're not the last team to win three spoons in a row, mate. But terrible. How and where and why do they? How can they bounce back? The Tigers, mate. What are they got to do?
Yeah, they're tough periods, Matty. That was my final year was 2015, and then to watch the Newcastle Knights win three wooden spoons in a row from my time in England. It was a really really tough spot to be. Like financially, financially not in a great space. The Knights were at that stage. Sponsors and that makes it hard to recruit players, mate. It makes it really tough, and the Tigers are in that spot at the moment. So it's a soul searching one. It's a hard one to work out what comes first. Is it more sponsorship to recruit more high profile players, and more high profile players and experienced players will influence other guys to stay or other guys to come to the club. But you need to be winning games. Players want to win games, number one, because it's fun and enjoyable, and you want to be at the semi-finals at the end of the year. And maybe Jerome Luai will turn that club around. He's
I was going to
big
say,
personality.
Luai's massive, isn't it? And it's a starting point, I reckon. So there's going to be a bit of buzz, a bit of hype there regardless, isn't there?
Well, I think he brings confidence, mate. He will bring confidence and belief to the group because he's been in a system where he's had success through his whole career. And so this will be a real test for Jerome Luai. There's no doubt about that. But I think, hopefully he brings a formula and an air of confidence of what it feels like to consistently win games. So hopefully he can turn the season around for the Tigers next year, mate.
Mate, talking about turning your season around, I must admit I was excited. I got the 6 out of the 8, and I pull up the run sheet today, mate. You've done me again. Fair dinkum. 7 out of 8. It's a nice
way to finish off the round. Yeah.
Come on, mate.
Yep.
You just
missed out on the Eagles, unfortunately.
Manly, so I missed out on Bulldogs and Dolphins. And you've missed out on just Manly, mate. So you're a freak. Fair dinkum. You've absolutely
finished the year on a high. Mate, I had a pretty ordinary run on the Gids Get On this year, but I was pretty consistent with my picking the rounds. Well, not picking the rounds, but getting a 6 or 7 was a decent pass score.
I love it, mate. Hey, what about the Gids Get On, mate? 1 out of 3. Knights at the line. Total points over 48.5. I think you thought it was going to be a high score.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be high scoring.
And Knights have scored 31 plus points. So 1 out of 3 there. Not much better for me, mate. 1 out of 3. I went the Dolphins to win. Herbie Farnsworth and the Hammer, anytime try scorer. So we haven't saluted there. And the Don't Argue Punters Club, mate. Fair dinkum. We'll be at Newcastle, I'd say, for our little end of season trip. I'll come up your way, mate. We might just go to a pub and have a Palmer or something.
You'll be coming to my place for a few free beers here, mate. We haven't got much in the kitty there.
Hey, look, even the cat's joining in here, mate. We had the whale last week. We got the cat this week.
Gold.
Hey, let's have a look at the Palmer Bet premiership odds. And interesting market this for mine. Storm are the faves at $2.50. Panthers at $3. That's kind of swung from halfway through the year and the start of the year. Roosters are at $5.50 with some injury concerns. Sharks are at $12. Cowboys $18. Bulldogs $20. Manly $21. Knights $51. Gids. Plenty of value for a Knights fan. What do you think? Is a winner going to come out of the top 2, mate? Storm or Panthers?
Well, I still think they're both of those teams are above the rest of the competition in the finals here. So, look, it's always going to be a tough one to try and get to the grand final or even win it from 5th to 8th. But we'd love to see it be done. And by the Mighty Knights, would be a nice one. But I still think the Storm. I think the Storm are the standout team of the competition. They've been the most consistent. But as we know, the Panthers have done it, mate, 3 years in a row, and they might be happy with the Storm sort of getting the attention at the moment. So I think still those 2 teams. I would have said the Roosters until they had those 3 injuries at the back end of the year. But again, Sharks are flying under the radar. They're probably happy with everyone else talking about Storm, Panthers, Roosters. So I still think Storm for me will take it out.
And the Panthers have got a bloke by the name of Nathan Cleary who's going to be pretty fresh coming into this final series as well. So Yeah, it's really interesting, I reckon. Hard thing to do to win four on the hop. I reckon Gids, you just. But if any team can do it, I reckon it's the Panthers team because they just got such a good.
Yeah. There's a few boys
Backup.
leaving there too, Matty. There's a
There is.
bit more motivation on the line with Luai. Is it Fisher Harris? I think's off to Warriors. I'm pretty sure. So there's a little bit more on the line there. But they've done it over the last few years where they've had superstar players leave and go elsewhere because of the salary cap pressure, and they still just the old conveyor belt of quality personnel next
Just
man
come
up,
through.
and they continue the success.
Right, let's have a look at first week of the finals, Gids. It is Panthers second, take on the Roosters third, Friday, 7:50 p.m. at Panthers Stadium, head-to-head. Penrith at $1.42. Roosters at 289. The line here is -7.5. Total points over/under is 41.5 points. Last time they met, it was way back in round number 4, Gids. Panthers beat the Roosters 22-16 at Allianz Stadium. Stats and bets we like. Can I just say, too, two of these got up and saluted in the final round at some nice dividends as well. So we've been kind of following pretty closely the last 8 weeks, and they have been absolutely on the money. So the boys this week, the Panthers have won their last 9 games against the Roosters. That's a good stat. So Panthers just to win head-to-head, $1.42. 3 of the last 5 games between the two teams have gone over the total points, Gids. So total points over $41.5, $1.90. Last time they played, Panthers winger Suria Toruva scored a hat-trick. So Toruva, anytime try score, $1.96. If you multi those 3 legs up, you get $4.20, all thanks to Palmerbet. Gids.
Nice.
Roosters just limped in the back half. The last couple of games, got some players missing, injury, suspension, all that kind of stuff. Can they cause a little upset here against Penrith, do you think?
Well, I'm still looking at their team sheet here at the moment, Matty. Tedesco, Daniel Tupou, Suoliti, Joseph Manu, Dom Young, Luke Keary,
Good side, isn't it?
Bertolini, Connor Watson, Lindsay Collins, Angus Crichton, Tupanua, Nat Butcher.
She's a good
It's a
lineup.
pretty decent starting team. Like I know they've lost the cheese, they've lost starting half, Sam Walker and Victor Radley, but they've still bloody lined up a cracking team. So, mate, they'll be loving being the underdogs. They'll be talking about it. They'll be cutting things out of the paper, sticking them up in the sheds. Everyone's writing us off. It's great motivation, Matty. I've had coaches who have done it before. I've read things before and thinking, you know what? Here we go. You're writing us off. Let's go. Let's ambush them.
It's like a free shot.
I think that's the mentality.
Yeah.
I think it's a great mentality to have for the Roosters to be looking to ambush teams as if everyone's written us off, and that works. I've been there when it works, and it's great motivation.
And do you know what with the Roosters kids too? I reckon they've really snuck a little bit under the radar, a bit like Cronulla this year. Like they've never really been belted all year. When they've lost games, they've always been tight, close games, and they have won games they've needed to win right throughout the season. I reckon they started a little bit slow, but then they've just built the whole year.
Yeah, well, Matty, mid-year, I think they were smashing teams. They had an average points of over 30 points a game at one stage. So they were tallying teams up sort of mid-year and on a real run. And as I say, Hargraves got suspended there for a little bit, twice, I think, sort of back-to-back. And then they've had a couple of injuries, like most teams have. But, yeah, I think it's still pretty decent roster they've got on paper there this week. And, mate, I guess the other one, Nathan Cleary's been named to play this week. And who do you think the Roosters are going to go at?
Yeah, of course
they'll be targeting him, that's for sure. They'll be targeting him when he's got the ball. When he hasn't got the ball, they'll be sending traffic at his shoulder. They'll be testing him right out. And I've played with shoulder issues and certainly subluxed and dislocated shoulders, and it doesn't give you a whole heap of confidence trying to make tackles. I can tell you that much.
No,
it's psychologically, it's not great for the headspace.
And I reckon if there's any injury in rugby league, you can't hide behind it's a shoulder, mate.
Shoulder, yep. And because teams are coming at it, that's for sure. And given his experience and stature in the game, they'll certainly target him, which is fair game. If he's there to play, then he'll back himself. But be interesting to see if he can get through and get through unscathed.
Who are you with, mate?
I've still got to lean towards, mate, the Panthers. At home, the Panthers, they've just been so formidable over the last 4 years. So I'll go for the Panthers, mate. And, yep, I think they'll get the week off, which will be great for obviously Nathan Cleary and one game away from the GF again.
You know what,
I think
Gids?
it could be a tight one, though, Matty. I think it could be a tight one.
I reckon it's going to be tight, and I'm changing. I was all week. I've been kind of looking at this, thinking, yeah, Panthers will get the job done. But geez, I don't know. I've just got to, and I keep going back. Yeah, I'm thinking, and I'm just going back to that last time they met this year. It was a 22-16 victory way back in round 4. And I don't reckon the Roosters were tracking along as good as what they are in the back half.
No, they weren't then.
Good players missing. So they got close enough. And the Panthers are up and about early. So I'm going Roosters, mate, in a little bit of a mini upset. But
Roosters.
I'm with you. It'll be tight, a really tight game, a physical, hard game. And yeah, I'm going the Roosters in a bit of a little mini upset, Gids.
Nice one.
Right, let's go to Saturday, 4:05 Amy Park. It'll be a sellout. It's the Melbourne Storm take on the Cronulla Sharks. Head-to-head, the Storm, $1.30. Sharks at $3.50. The line here is -9.5. It is short, Gids. Total points over under is 44.5 points. Last time they met was way back in round 10. Sharks beat the Storm 25-18 at Amy Park, Gids. So who could forget that? Stats and bets we like. The Sharks have lost their last 6 straight finals games. So Storm at the adjusted line of -4.5, $1.52. Xavier Coates has scored 29 tries in 25 games at Amy Park. That is huge. So Coates, anytime try scorer, $1.71. And Storm second rower, Elise Katoa, has scored 4 tries in his last 3 games and scored the last time he played against Cronulla. So Katoa, anytime try scorer, $2.65. Multi, them 3 up, all thanks to Palmerbet Gids, $6.50. Storm with this one, don't they? Come on, mate. Give me some confidence.
Yeah, no. Mate, I did think the Storm just go to a new level. You know, I think Craig Bellamy, great effort to win the minor premiership again. It's an amazing effort from a club perspective there, and they've had their fair share of injuries with Munster and Pappenhausen beating out 2 star players for them. I think they go to a whole new level and they make a real dominant statement here, first round of the semis, Matty. So I can see 13 plus happening here.
So can I, Gids.
And that's probably a bit harsh. That's probably a bit harsh on the Sharks, but I'm just looking at the team, the roster they've got in paper here, and I just think Craig Bellamy is here to make a statement in this game at home. I think it could be a real dominant win.
And been resting players the last couple of weeks, freshening everybody up. They're going to be cherry ripe. There's going to be no excuses. There'll be nowhere to hide for the Sharks, I reckon. And big home ground advantage. I'm with you, mate. 13 plus. It's going to feature in my little Matty's must-have a little bit later on too, Gids.
Nice one.
Righto. Cowboys Knights, Saturday, 7:50, Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Are you heading up, Gids?
Nah, I think I'm just going to watch it, mate. I might have a couple of boys around here, a little Gids' bar, and just have a few refreshments and cheer them on from here, mate. But mate, it's a great one. It's a great matchup. I think the Cows have hit a bit more form towards the back end of the year. I still thought there was some inconsistent games early in the year and even throughout the middle part of the year. I thought they started to hit a bit more form towards the back end. But I don't feel like the Knights go up there fearing the Cowboys. And I know that game was early in the year, the Golden Point victory of the Cowboys over the Knights.
Well, that was way back.
I think
that was way back in round number 2, so 21-20. That was up there on their home deck. And I'll just give you the market. Head-to-head, Cowboys $1.42. Knights at $2.89. Juicy if you're a Knights fan. The line here is -6.5. Total points over under is 43.5 points. Stats and bets we like. Cowboys have won their last 3 straight games against the Knights. And the Knights have not won in Townsville since 2015, Gids. So Cowboys just to win head-to-head, $1.42. 3 of the last 4 games between the Knights and the Cowboys have gone under the total points. So total points under 44.5 here, $1.83. And Kyle Feldt has scored 11 tries in 6 games. So Kyle Feldt, anytime try scorer, $1.56. Multi them 3 up, $4.33, all thanks to Palmerbet, Gids. Sell it to me, mate, because I tell you what, I'm a little bit like the first game. I was kind of thinking Cowboys at home and that, but then just listening to you early on in this little podcast, you've kind of sold me on the form that Ponga's in and the confidence levels at the Knights. I'm
Mm.
actually thinking I'm going to go, and I'm swinging back to your Knights here, Gids.
Yeah, maybe, but that's my heart talking there. But I just feel like, Kalen dominated last week because he wanted his hands on the ball. Um, I love our outside backs. Dan Gagai, I love the way he plays the game. Every contest there is, whether he's got the ball, doesn't have the ball, he wants to win it. Gags does, and I love his passion. Bradman Best, he's back in the team. He's getting plenty of ball, and he's a strong carrier of the ball. He's a strong defender. Greg Marzu's another strong outside back who's really important getting their set started. And young Fletcher Sharp, well, he's had a great back end of the year, being only a rookie. So I think they've got to win the meters with their outside backs, catching footies on the full, win the meters with those guys, and certainly the forward pack. That's going to be a tough matchup because there's some dominant forwards like Jason Talmalala who, huge motor, big, athletic. He needs to be stopped. Jeremiah Nanai, Ruben Cotter, so I think the forward packs is going to be a tough battle, but I'd like to see the Knights, out muscle them through outside back carries.
You confident, mate?
I am, Matty. I think I take some confidence, mate, on the Knights last couple of weeks, last few weeks. I think they've been under pressure already, to get into the
Yep.
semis. They've had to win. They've had to win over the last 5 weeks. I know they haven't won 5 in a row, but they've had to consistently fight to get there. So they've been playing do or die for certainly the last few weeks, and I think they're up for the challenge. I know I was talking to them after the game, and even just the last couple of days down the beach, to be honest, and they got a real buzz out of that home game. I think it had a semi-final feel about it, sold out crowd. Do or die game, and I think they took some real confidence out of the emotion of that one.
Right, you sold me, mate. I'm jumping on your Knights, big fella, at a nice price, head to head. Happy to play around that.
I'm going to get on
$2.89,
1 to 12, mate. I'm going to get on 1 to 12. I think it'll be a tight one. If the Knights get up, I still think it'll be close.
Lot going up from Newcastle kids. They'll make the trek up there.
It's a harder trek because it's 2 flights, mate. So it's a bit more expensive, obviously, for punters wanting to travel. So, and it's a decent way, from Newcastle. So, yeah, I hope, mate. I hope they do. I hope the Knights faithfuls get behind the team. It's a Saturday night game. That helps. 7:50 Saturday night, I think it is, later kickoff. So hopefully people can get up there Saturday lunchtime to get home Sunday if they need to go back to work, or hopefully that encourages them to get on board.
I'll be tuning in, big fella. Don't worry about that. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a cracking contest, and I am on. I'm with you, mate. I'm going to join the bandwagon, big fella. Righto. Bulldogs, Manly, Sunday, 4:05 at the Core Stadium, head-to-head. Canterbury Bulldogs, $1.92. Manly Seagulls at $1.92, so they can't split this one. The line they can't split either. It's minus 0.5. Total points over under is 42.5 points. Last time they met, round 26, so only a couple of weeks ago, Manly beat the Bulldogs 34-22 at the Core Stadium. Stats and bets we like. Manly have won 9 of their last 10 games against the Bulldogs. That's big. So Manly to win is $1.92. Last 2 games between the two teams have gone over the total points. So total points over 42.5, $1.90. And Lehi Hapawate has scored 8 tries in his last 7 games, including a double against the Dogs in round 26. So Hapawate, anytime try score, $1.99. 3-leg same game multi, 5.25. All thanks to Palmer Bet. Kids, toss the coin game, this one for mine. Is Turbo playing?
Yep, Turbo's named. He's named, mate. It's an AC joint, so you can get those needled up and you sweep the play. It's just they're painful during the week to try and get through training, that type of thing, recovery, weights. But he's named Turbo, which we know his influence, mate, on the team. His influence on the team, just as far as having him in the sheds dressed with his gear on, that influences the teammates, team morale, and the belief in the squad. So, from his presence on the field, calling plays, barking orders defensively. Obviously, speed's a big one, and he's ball playing. So, yeah, he's a huge inclusion for the Eagles, mate. I guess it's going to be a hostile environment for Manly, coming from the Northern Beaches, out to Western Sydney, out to Homebush. I think it'll be. I think the atmosphere will be incredible for the Dogs supporters. Well, I don't know off the top of my head when the last time the Dogs were in the finals. I know it hasn't been for a while, that's for sure. So it will be packed out
They'll
there.
be
We've
up and about.
seen. I think it was 2 weeks ago. They had 35,000 out there for a Friday night footy 8 o'clock kickoff, and that's probably a fair indication of who's going to be there Sunday afternoon 4 o'clock. I don't know, mate. There's just two things for me about the Dogs. The towel up last week wasn't ideal, having that many points scored against, and just the off-field distractions, I suppose, just over the last couple of days, just not ideal. And as much as just you talk about in the change rooms, in the video sessions, that that's not a distraction, and let's just play the same line to the media at each press conference. That inevitably it's a distraction, unfortunately, and it's not ideal.
Who are you with, mate?
And then you've got one of your star players, one of your influential players, because he brings energy. He brings, like, Josh Adokar brings, good fun, mate. Like we used to have it, like Kuyuate in Newcastle. Like you need those guys who are in the sheds who lighten the mood and bring some music and enjoyment and dancing and some genuine fun. So he'll be a loss there, just from a team culture perspective this week. So he'll be shattered about that, and so will the team. So, mate, I'm going to lean towards the Eagles, mate. I think it's still tight just because the environment the Eagles are going to with the influence of the crowd. So 1-12 Eagles.
Yeah, I'm going really tight game, Gids, but I'm going the other way. I'm going Bulldogs to bounce back. They've been really good all year, and I reckon they deserve to win a final. I really, defensively, as we've spoken about week on week, it's been good. Bit of a lapse the last couple of weeks, but if they can get that right and start playing a little bit for each other more, and then I reckon those offloads too, Gids. That's when they play their best, when they kind of get 2-3 tackles, then they're just getting that little offload and that game going.
Every offload's an extra tackle and it's extra effort, mate, for the defensive team, which makes it hard. But it's a great story. Hopefully, if they can get up, they're a great story. It's been a great year and turnaround for the Bulldogs with such a long history and proud club.
Righto, Gids, give us your pick 4, big fella, for the week.
Mate, my pick 4, I've got Panthers 1-12, Storm 13+, Knights 1-12, and Eagles 1-12.
What do we got, mate? What odds thanks to Palmerbet legend?
Mate, just over $10, mate. Just over tenner. Yeah,
I love it. Well, my pick 4 for the week, Gids. I've changed it, so I've had to just key it straight into the app. I've gone Roosters in a little mini upset on Friday night. Storm to get the job done. Your Knights in an upset too against the Cowboys, and the Bulldogs 21-72. Just those.
Yeah, I was going to say a bit of value there. There's two outsiders, the Knights and the Roosters you've got there, which they would be some big upsets, mate.
I love it.
It'd be interesting,
mate.
the round 2 of the semis, mate, if you get that one up.
Do you know what? I'm actually quietly confident, Gids, to be honest, that I might get the pick 4 this week. So have a little something on.
Nice one.
For the Palmerbet followers. Righto, mate. What about the Gids? Get on. What do you got for us this week, buddy?
Yeah, mate, I'm going to stick with the Knights on my loyalty, mate, and just with some of the vibes that I've felt around the last couple of days with the players after enjoying the victory on Sunday afternoon. So I'm going to go Knights 1-12, and then Knights to score the first point, $5.83. I think if the Knights sort of win up there, I think they've got to get up to a cracking start. Take the crowd out of it.
Righto, I love it, mate. Well, I'll tell you what I'm doing. Matty's must-have for the week. Storm 13+. I touched on it earlier. They are the form side, and they are looking enormous, to be honest. And I reckon they'll win comfortably. Pappy and Coates, anytime try scorer. Just keep coming back to those two superstars, mate. I love to see Pappy have a really cracking final series. I reckon he deserves it with all the injuries and stuff. So, and that'll get us. That will get us $5.75 on the Palmerbet app, Gids. So nice little play.
Nice one.
Sit back and watch on Friday night.
Yep, they're a big chance, mate, picking up some tries, those boys. That's for sure if they go well.
Now, listen, mate, we need to fire the Palmerbet Punters Club. What's your lock for the week?
My lock is Storm 13+.
Righto. Storm 13 plus. You've just stolen my lock. I like
Storm
it.
13 plus.
I tell you, no, it's good, mate. This is good mind stick alike. So that is a lock. Okay. I'm gonna go. Kalen Ponga anytime try scorer. Right.
Yep.
So just to score.
Well, mate, if the Knights are to go well, he's got to have a stack of involvement.
Right. So that's our Palmerbet Punters Club. We're trying to get out of Newcastle and trying to get somewhere where there's sun, Gids.
We'll get to Port Stephens an hour away up the Hunter Valley, maybe.
Bit of
couple
fun
of vineyards, mate, up there.
And we'll have 100 units on that this week, and that'll be right here. The odds
beautiful,
little go for us, which
sensational.
I really like. Download the Palmerbet app too. Finals time. They love their NRL. As we always say, gamble responsibly. Think about what you're really gambling with and get your Punters Club going. It's a whole lot of fun. Plenty of banter to be had on there.
It's easy.
And, look at that. Look at that.
It's that easy.
Don't look at the balance either because it'll be huge. I'm tipping because you've been sneaking the last.
The balance doesn't stay in there for a lot of the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, don't tell the better half, mate. That's the key.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, Gids, Fettingham, the next 4 weeks are going to be enormous. It's been a great season thus far. Will we see a little bolter kind of come from the pack and challenge, the top 2 powerhouse teams in the Storm and the Panthers? That's going to be the big talking point. And I think we're going to know a hell of a lot more after this weekend.
Tell you what, Matty, you'll throw a spanner in the works, that's for sure, considering the last few years there's been some pretty dominant teams and the Panthers been very dominant. So if the Panthers made all the Storm, we get to knocked off this week and have to play the following week, round 2 of the semis, it would make things real interesting.
Hey, mate, love your work, big fella. It's going to be a cracking little week. I know you're nervous for your Knights. I've still got the Dolphin here, mate, a.k.a. the big whale, still sitting here, all right? So just got a little memory each week just to remind me. And that's why, hence, you've convinced me, to be honest, to get on the Knights this week. And I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great round of NRL, that is for sure. And as I said, the next 4 weeks are going to be absolutely huge. Kids, you have a wonderful weekend, mate. Enjoy week 1 of the finals, and we'll talk next week.
100%, Matty. Enjoy the week, first week of the finals.
What's gambling really costing you? For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.